had a customer talk to me last week, and I asked him, who's your customer? And he said, anyone between 22 and 75. Okay. That wasn't a good answer from his part, and it was an opportunity for me to start talking to him about a customer persona. Now, when we go out and we try and sell something or we market something, there are people who are going to like your product, and there are people who aren't going to like your product. The old Henry Ford dictum, I love marketing, but I don't know which half of the people are going to like my marketing, captures exactly this point. You do not want to spend your time selling to people who do not care about your product or service. Yeah? So the more that you can narrow your product or service, the less money you waste. It's that simple. Yeah? The less money you waste, the better your conversion rate, the better your return on investment, the more your sales, the more profit you make, and everything gets amazing. So we look at customers in two ways. There are demographics and there are psychographics. Okay, so demographics is, if you look at me, he's a white middle-aged male between 40 and 50. He's probably got a university education. There you go. That is simple demographics. Yeah. Am I a good customer for you? Why am I a good customer for you? Is it the amount of money that I got in my wallet? Is it something else? Now, the something else could well be the way that I look at the world, and that's called my psychographics. Now, if we take a brand like Ironman. Ironman, for those of you who don't know, is a sporting brand. They put on triathlon races. A triathlon is a swim followed by a cycle followed by a run. Ironman does this in extreme, so it's a 4-kilometer swim followed by a 180 kilometer bicycle ride followed by a 42-kilometer running marathon, and that takes between 9 and 17 hours to complete without stopping. And I'm a very good target customer for Ironman because I want to be, I think in their words, a hero. I want to demonstrate that I'm very tough, I'm very strong, I'm mentally resilient, I can endure, and I can keep on going no matter how hard it is, basically. Yeah? And so they say, here's the hardest race on earth. And it's like, me and lots of other people go, oh, wow, this is amazing, it's the hardest race on earth, this is just right for me. And that is what we're looking at when we're looking at sort of the psychographics of an audience. Why am I a fit? Why am I a fit for them? Is it midlife crisis? Do I need to prove my masculinity? Do I need to prove how macho I am? Am I worried about that midlife spread, my fat belly, keeping my heart healthy to avoid a heart attack at 55, overcoming alcoholism or too much smoking earlier in life? All of these are part of the psychographics and the story behind the customer. And so for your product or service, you need to be pretty clear about who your customer is, what their story is. I think it was Etsy or one of the craft platforms had an absolutely amazing customer persona. And the persona, just sketch her out. It was called Sarah. She'd grown up somewhere in California's Central Valley. She grew up on a farm and she'd had goats as a kid. Now, midlife with a couple of children, she's got a house and she's got a few goats in the backyard. And she milks them each day. And she started to make goat's milk soap out of them. And she's got the smell right and the packaging. And her friends love them. And somebody says, well, why don't you start selling them? And she's come to Etsy to start selling them. And that tells you so much about the people who Etsy want to sell on their platform. And understanding her worldview, that she's not there to shift 100 million bars of soap a year. She's there to sell the product because she takes so much pride in creating something that's beautiful, something that meets her worldview, that she wants to sell it to an audience who cares. And that's his value proposition, of course. What is your customer like? What do they really care about? What difference are you going to make to them? What difference do you want to see them change? How should they change? What are the things that drive and motivate them? When I'm talking about customer personas, there's normally a number of things apart from the demographics, the psychographics. Yeah, I always get a photo. Yeah, often if I'm doing B2B, I'll go through LinkedIn, find 5 or 6 potential customers who really fit, and then choose one of their faces, put it onto my my customer persona form. Then I've got a real person. I'll give him a name. Bob the Builder could be one, forever a construction guy. Silly, but you're always going to remember Bob the Builder. Yeah, and then when you're talking about your product, you can then ask the very powerful question: does Bob like this product? Will Bob like it? What will Bob think? Sure. How do we ask Bob what he wants about this? And suddenly, when you're talking in terms of a real person, your marketing changes in some indefinable way. To go off on a historical tangent, I mean, Stalin, who was notorious for killing millions of his own citizens, he says, well, when one person dies, it's a tragedy. When you kill a million, it's a statistic. Nobody cares about the million people. They care about the one person because the one person is real. The one person has a story. When you make your marketing about that one person and you care about them and you are telling your marketing story to that person, you can then make a connection. And that gives you a very much more of an authentic voice. It makes a huge difference. So we give them a name, we give them a photo. I also quite often look at the 19 or 20 marketing channels and then try and figure out how will the persona respond to viral advertising? How will it respond to pay-per-click? How will they respond to word of mouth? How will they respond to offline advertising? Because at this stage, it then helps you to start thinking about the marketing hedge. What brands do they love? What brands do they hate? So if you were in America, in the very politically charged environment, some of your customer personas maybe will love the Huffington Post. Some will love, say, Fox News. Yes. Is there an equal mix? In which case it doesn't matter. Or do you find that your customers are falling very much on one side or the other? So thinking about the brands that they like and they don't like, and also thinking about their motivations. What is motivating them? Are they motivated by fear, which is a very good one for B2B sales? The fear of not performing and losing their jobs and getting a bad performance review, but also fear of what happens if the change that I promote goes wrong. Am I going to get blamed? Where there's the status, which is a very powerful one in B2C sales. I mean, Mercedes is a brand that's all about prestige. You buy a Mercedes not for the car, but for the status that it gives you amongst your social group, your in-group. So these are different aspects, and then you look at the traits. How would you describe the persona? Are they ambitious? Are they hardworking? Are they caring? Are they scatty? Are they hippie-like? Are they a workaholic? Is work a priority? Are children a priority? What are the traits that start to define them? And with each of these, you start to get a more and more rounded picture. In many ways, if you're more artistic, the way that you can look at this is as an author, creating a character for a book. If we go back and we look at people like Tolstoy with the great characterization of their characters in his novels, we then say, okay, what is Anna Karenina like? What are the some of the characters in the Bronte novels like? What motivates them? What drives them? What's going to make them come alive out of the black and white print in a paper book? Why do you remember their characters, but you really don't remember the hero from Cowboy Heroes number 92? One's cardboard cartoon-like, the other is a real fully fleshed out person. And this is what we're really trying to do when we try and create a customer persona. Right, excuse me. And then the final thing that we need to do for customers is think, what are their pains, what are their gains? Yeah, and this goes back to the problem. What are the things that the customer really hates? What stresses them out? So for example, when I'm producing a video like this, for example, things that stress me out is, okay, I have to take this video, I have to put in the noise reduction, I have to put in the front piece, I have to put in the end piece, I have to fade, I have to then post it up onto social media. There's about another 20 or 30 tasks to undertake. These are all pains and time consuming. Your product, can you do it faster and easier? So understanding what are the pains that the customer is facing and what they struggle with, and then also what do they really want to achieve? What are the gains? What will make it a success if they solve those problems? What will their life look like? So you're not only looking at the state that the customer is when they're in the problem, when they are the way they are now, but you're also looking at the state that they would like to be in when the problem is solved. You may be able to take them all the way, you may be able to take them half the way, you may in the case be able to take them well beyond the solution that they've ever dreamed of. And that was the genius of Steve Jobs with the iPhone. He went way beyond what people were even thinking about. And so all this goes into the customer persona. And the net impact of this, yes, it's hard, it's a lot of work, but you then end up with something that means you're using a sniper rifle. You're able to aim at a particular group of customers and say, we can deliver great value to you. Bang! And they convert. Now, start with, when you're just going out, you've gone out, you've spoken to a lot of people, you've done your problem validation. You may not be 100% convinced about your customer. What do? You build your whole marketing campaign again around a customer persona who may or may not fit. Yeah, you might have got it totally wrong. I've certainly done that in the past. And the way that you address this from a growth hacking perspective is you come up with 3, 4, 5, 10 personas who you think may work. And then you run a simple advertising campaign, say on Facebook, where you can target a lot more effectively towards who people are, rather than on, say, Google AdWords, where you are targeting what people want to do. You then sort of target them and see who responds best to your adverts, who responds best to your value proposition. And then you get a fairly clear indication as to who is your real customer. And that is great customer validation. So that's a somewhat longer talk on customer personas, why it's important, and how to go about figuring out your customer persona. If you'd like to work on this more with me, do give me a call. It'd be great to work with you. My name is Dennis Oakley. and I am the Startup Strategist. Thanks for listening.